Hello everyone, I'm Sneha. Back to my YouTube channel, Story Session with Sneha. Today I have come up with a brand new story, a short story by Maupassant. It is called Depth. I cannot really express in words that how beautiful the story is. Just you have to listen through it. You will have to be with me to listen to till the end of the story. All I can say is the story is going to depict the harsh reality of life. At the same time, it is going to inculcate a good teachings to all of you. So let's get started with the story. PTS, PTS, come with me, you handsome dark fellow. I'm very nice, as you will see. Do come up, and at any rate, you will be able to warm yourself, for I have a capital fire at home. But nothing enticed the foot passengers, neither being called a handsome dark fellow, which she applied quite impartially to old or fat men also, not the promise of pleasure which was emphasized by a caressing ogle and smile, not even the premise of a good fire, which was so attractive in the bitter December wind. And tall Fanny continued her useless walk, and the night advanced and foot passengers grew scarcer. In another hour, the street would be absolutely deserted, and unless she could manage to pick up some belated drunken man, she would be obliged to return home alone. And yet, tall Fanny was a beautiful woman, with the head of a bachante and the body of a goddess in all the full splendor of her 23 years. She deserved something better than this miserable pavement, but she could not even pick up the 5 francs which she wanted for the requirement of the next day. But there, in this infernal Paris, in this swarming crowd of competitors who all jostled each other, courtesans like artists did not attain an eminence until their later years. In that they resembled precious stone, as the most valuable of them are those who have been said the oftenest. And that was why tall Fanny, who was later to become one of the richest and most brilliant star of Parisian gallantry, was walking about the street on this bitter December night without a half penny in her pocket, in spite of the head of Bachante and the body of a goddess, and in all the full splendor of her 23 years. However, it was too late now to hope to meet anybody. There was not a single foot passengers about. The street was decidedly empty, dull and lifeless. Nothing was to be heard except the whistling of sudden gust of wind, and nothing was to be seen except the flickering gaslight which looked like dying butterflies. Well, the only thing was to return home alone. But suddenly, tall Fanny saw a human form standing on the pavement at the next crossing. It seemed to be hesitating and uncertain which way to go. The figure, which was very small and slight, was wrapped in a long cloak which reached almost to the ground. Perhaps he is a hunchback, the girl said to herself. They like tall women, and she walked quickly towards him, from habit already saying, PTS, PTS, come home with me, you handsome dark fellow. What luck! The man did not go away, but came towards Fanny, although somewhat timidly while she went to meet him, repeating her wheedling words so as to reassure him. She went all the quicker as she saw that he was staggering with the zigzag walk of a drunken man, and she thought to herself, when once they sit down, there is no possibility of getting these beggars up again, for they want to go to sleep just where they are. I only hope I shall get to him before he tumbles down. Luckily, she reached him just in time to catch him in her arms, but as soon as she had done so, she almost let him fall in her astonishment. It was neither a drunken man nor a hunchback, but a child of 12 or 13 in an overcoat who was crying and who said in a weak voice, I beg your pardon, madam, I beg your pardon. If you only knew how hungry and cold I am, I beg your pardon. Oh, I am so cold. Poor child, she said, putting her arms around him and kissing him. And she carried him off with a full but happy heart. And while she continued to sob, she said to him mechanically, Don't be frightened, my little man. You will see how nice I can be. And then You can warm yourself. I have a capital fire." But the fire was out. The room, however, was warm, and the child said as soon as they got in, "Oh, how comfortable it is here. It is great deal better than in the streets, I can tell you, and I have been living in the street for 6 days." He began to cry again and added, "I beg your pardon, madam. I have eaten nothing for 2 days." Tall Fanny opened her cupboard, which had glass door. The middle shelf held all linen, and on the upper one there was a box of Albert biscuit, a drop of brandy at the bottom of a bottle, and few small lumps of sugar in a cup. With that and some water out of jug, she concocted a sort of broth, which he swallowed ravenously, and when he had done, he wished to tell his story, which he did, yawning all the time. His grandfather, the only one of his relative whom he had ever known, who had been a painter and decorator at Soissons, had died about a month before, but before his death, he said to him, "When I am gone, little man, you will find a letter to my brother, who is in business in Paris, among my papers. You must take it to him, and he will be certain to take care of you. However, in any case, you must go to Paris, for you have an aptitude for painting, and only there can you hope to become an artist." So the next part of the story I'm going to read out the next day. So to know the next part of it, you will have to stay tuned to my storytelling. And if you haven't listened to my previous story, please do visit the channel and listen to all the previous stories which I have read out to you. Thank you for supporting me and keep listening to good stories. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe.